This video today is going to be targeted towards my clients who have maybe a decrease in mobility through their hips, their knees, maybe deconditions, as well as those who have arthritis in their hips, knees, or any kind of joint replacement. Today I'm going to show you 5 different exercises that are recommended to do about 2 sets of 10. Of course, use your discretion. If you can't get to 10, that's okay. It's just a matter about increasing your physical activity levels and mobility. So since I'm standing, let's start with leg abductions. So what you're going to do, plant most of your body weight onto one leg. You can use a chair, maybe the wall for balance. And then what you're going to do is just raise that leg, really focusing on that movement coming from the hip and then lower. So what I don't want to see is as you raise, you're tipping to the side. So you don't want to do that. And again, you don't want to lock out that knee. So just from a side view, again, holding that wall if you need for support or balance, you don't want to lock that knee out. Soft joint. So we'll use this other leg here, and then just going to raise and then lower. Raise and then lower. Okay, so that's exercise number 1. So exercise number 2, let's do a hamstring curl. So again, holding onto that wall for balance or support. Soft knee in that supporting leg. This other knee here that's going to be doing the work is going to stay pointed towards the floor. So what that looks like is to raise that knee or that ankle and then lower. Okay? So one thing that I do tend to correct in a lot of my patients or clients is they lift that leg using the hip flexor now instead of the hamstring. So again, keep that knee pointed towards the ground, lift and then lower. If you do have an elastic band at home, you can make it harder. Taking a band, wrapping it around your ankle, stepping down onto it with the other leg. Again, soft knee in that supporting leg. Knee lift and then lower. The other thing too is just to engage the core just a little bit. So while you're doing this, you don't want to compensate your posture by arching your back. Just a little bit of a pelvic tilt where your core is engaged, and then do the exercise. Okay. While still standing here, the next exercise is going to be a wall slide. So leaning against a wall, you want to come forward with your feet, toes pointed forward, about hip width apart, and you want to keep your back, your shoulders, and your neck against the wall if you can. You try to prevent any kind of forward movement and then doing this position, just sliding down at the lower back, your hip region. So try to stay up nice and tall against the wall. You're going to slide down. Try to prevent any inward movement with the knees. You kind of want to try to push those knees up more towards the baby toes, going in the same direction as the knees, and then slide back up. More weight through the heels versus the toes. So as you can see, I can actually lift my toes up off the floor. And then finally, you also don't want to have your knees going over your toes while you're doing this. That just puts more stress on the knees, not comfortable. So if your feet are too close to the wall and you're going down, most of my weight is now shifted towards the balls of my feet. My knees are over my toes and a lot of tension through the knees. So just from the side view, it's going into this position versus this position. Now, as an option, you don't have to go down as far. So if you can only go down about 45 degrees and back up, that's totally okay. As well, if it's really hard on your knees to slide up and down, doing that motion at the knees, try going down and just holding it in an isometric contraction. However long, it's kind of up to you and your fitness level. It could be 10 seconds, it could be 60 seconds. It's up to you. Feeling the muscles right here. And back up. Okay. 2 more exercises, but we're going to go down onto the floor. First, we're going to do a glute bridge. So you're lying on your back on the floor. If you're in this position, what I want you to do is think about squishing your lower back into the floor. So if you had your hand in that arch, try to squish the lower back into the floor or the belly button in towards the ground. That movement should not come from the legs, it should come from the core itself. So the core is engaged, and now we're ready to do the exercise. So you're just going to lift the hips up, keep in that core contraction right here. If I lose that core contraction, I can push up higher, and now I'm compensating my posture and probably feeling that in my lower back. So again, a little pelvic tilt, lift, and then lower. So this exercise is not about how high you can go. It's just about being efficient and doing it correctly while protecting the lower back, really engaging those glutes. Okay? All right, last one is a clamshell. Just for keeping purposes, I really like to use the wall. So what you're going to do is put your feet against the wall, hips against the wall, and you're just going to start off with shoulders against the wall. So in this position now, you're going to take this top hand, bring it down, so that causes your body to rotate a little bit. So your hip bone's now pointed a little bit more towards the ground than just upright. And then you're just going to lift that knee, and then lower, and then lift, and then lower. So again, not about how high you can lift this leg. It's just about trying to really make sure that movement's coming from the hip. If I was more in an upright position where my hips are stacked, I can lift my leg up really high. But now I'm not really just using my hips, and I'm going to get some rotation in my lower back and sacral area. So again, make sure that hip bone here rotated just a little bit downward, and lift, and then lower. All right, everyone, those are the 5 exercises that I like to give my clients who have any kind of arthritis in the hips, hip replacements, or just a decrease in mobility. Again, recommended 2 sets of 10, but just do what you can in your comfort zone, and it's just a matter of increasing that physical activity. Thank you.